Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you so much for viewing this, and I hope you enjoy the Supercoach EPL Game Week 3 review and Game Week 4 preview. As you can see, we have jumped up 6k spots with a score of 122, and we are sitting relatively nicely at 2.6k. There was some massive scores floating around this week, but I think, in all honesty, we were very, very lucky to score 122, to be fair. I know it's an international break coming up, so I've got a little bit of time off before we actually get into Game Week 4. Nothing set in stone. We'll always preface the video with that, as things can change, injuries can happen, dubious little knocks, players not going to represent their country because of these so-called knocks. But we'll see what we can, come up with for a lineup for Game Week 4. And as always, review Game Week 3. So, as you can see, this is the team. And as I said, we were very, very lucky to get a 122, actually. The initial plan was to bring in Mohamed Kudus, Ricardo Calafiori, and also Mickey van der Ven. I did see the team sheets, and I saw that Adingra was not named on field. He was named on the bench for Sunderland, so we had to drastically change things up, but it did work in our favour, so to speak. That meant there was no Mohamed Kudus for Spurs, which I guess worked out to be a good thing. We still went with Ricardo Calafiori. He got that nice price rise, scored a 4, but still has a relatively low break even. Mickey van der Ven was, I guess, very lucky to get a 3. But it also meant that we had to keep Florian Wirtz, who actually did quite well, although lost some coin. Speaking of losing coin, I'm fairly sure Mohamed Salah just decided not to rock up, scoring a 1 against Arsenal. As I alluded to before, we were very lucky. Without Kudus, that meant I had no VC option, so had to chuck it on Jack Grealish, which was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Him and KDH for Everton absolutely balled out against Wolves. They won 3-2 in the end, but from a Supercoach EPL perspective, it was wonderful to have the VC on at least one of them. Now, we weren't looking too well with, obviously, Truffett on the bench. Bournemouth keeping a clean sheet against Spurs. There was a little bit of me that thought that could happen, but let's play the percentages here and play a Rodon of Leeds against, I guess, a fairly toothless Newcastle. They had quite a few injuries and they were playing at home, so I made the initial call to play Rodon over Truffett, and it did not look good when Bournemouth won 1-0 and Truffett kept a clean sheet. That being said, I did wake up to an Anton Stack. Shout out to him, the real German superstar, 9-pointer, and Rodon kept a clean sheet against Newcastle, which I did not expect to happen. Absolutely did not expect that to happen. That was wonderful. So that was an extra 20 points right then and there. We held Cole Palmer, as you can see. Haaland, non-owners would be, I think they would be feeling a little happy to get away with a 14-pointer, and owners like myself probably feeling a little bit ripped off. He had multiple chances to score, obviously did, but that could have been a different story if he had have finished his chances. As I said, Salah did nothing. Wirtz was very good for his 8. And as I said earlier, Adingra did not make the starting 11, so we transferred him to Sarr, who I thought had the lowest floor of all the trade-in options. Regardless, they were going to be traded to Rodri after the international break, which is still the plan. Just want to see him get through international duty with Spain, and then it will be Sa to Rodri, and then I'm feeling very content with the team. Very content. Some very good fixtures coming up, and there's not too much more we need to address. I think in saying this, we will probably, I believe we may line up in a 2-5-3, which uh, it's not the most flexible position. So that would be Rodri on for Rodon, um, or potentially Mickey van der Ven. I think Arsenal, despite losing, I think it was Saliba or Gabriel in the 5th minute against Liverpool, they did quite well. Arsenal play the first game of the round against Forest. Forest are not looking fantastic. As I said, they play the first game of the round in gameweek 4, so we'll definitely get to see if Calafiori is starting. If he is, obviously he plays, and then it will be one of, I guess, Van der Ven, Rodon, or Truffett in the back line, and we'll have Rodri on field with Palmer, Grealish, Stack, Dewsbury Hall, Salah, Haaland, and Wirtz. That's how I'm planning to line up. If there's no injuries, obviously we can only hope that nothing goes wrong over the international break, but as we all know, there'll be some dubious knocks. Something will happen that may throw a spanner into the works. I'm leaning at this stage. The two defensive players will it will be one of Calafiori. He will definitely start against Forest. Get to see that lineup nice and early. So if he's not in, obviously we've got time to adjust and then make the changes as needed. But Truffett has Brighton, which I kind of do like. Rodon has Fulham at home, and Mickey van der Ven has West Ham away. So I'm not too sure as to where I'm leaning just yet. I'm not too sure if West Ham are going to be better than what they were, or Palace just literally Palace or Forest just literally shut the bed in the last 20 minutes as West Ham won 3-0 against them. Fulham admittedly should have scored against Chelsea. That came out and the VAR official got that wrong. So technically, Fulham scored against Chelsea, so they should score against Leeds, which makes me think it's going to be out of Van der Ven and Truffett to partner Calafiori going into a 2-5-3. Again, I'm not entirely sure as to how that's going to happen, or if that's the lineup I'm going to take, but I do know for certainty that Mohamed Salah will be my captain. As you can see, the only loop that I can really do is Calafiori or David Raya against Forest, because my loop in Martial actually plays in one of the 12 a.m. games, so the 1 o'clock kickoff for UK tenants, and I'm set on having Salah as my captain against Burnley. So it's probably at this stage, I'm probably going to be VC Calafiori. If by some means he doesn't play, I'll just maybe just straight see Salah and see what happens. I'm fairly confident he's going to bounce back against Burnley. I think Liverpool will dispose of them quite nicely. So I'm banking on a lot of goals there for Liverpool. I know it's obviously not at home for them. It's at Turf Moor away. So Burnley's home ground, but I have full confidence in Liverpool to get the job done there. But the VC, I guess, the only option really is Calafiori this week, which is a little bit dubious, so to speak. If he starts, he gets a VC. Simple as that. Just basically because I can't VC Raya, because Marshall is my goal keep loop. So that's the only way we're going to go about that. And I don't really want to VC. Well, I couldn't even VC Truffet if I wanted to. I have no Forest players. So we're kind of pigeonholed into the VC there. But as I said, the C will most definitely be on Mohamed Salah. At this stage, I'm pretty content with the team where it's at. I was very, very shocked to see we rose 6K places into 2.6K with a 122 because most of the scores in the leagues that I'm in, there were some absolute monsters. Shout out to Pato of the Supercoach co-captains. He is absolutely flying in Supercoach EPL and also FPL. I think FPL he's ranked 230k and he's definitely in the top 10 for Supercoach EPL. I think he's rank 8, I believe, overall, and just absolutely flying. He's played it his own way, done such a good job, and reaping the rewards. Obviously, 38-week season, but he's got a much better start than literally anyone that I've interacted with or know. So he's done a fantastic job there. As usual, we are so close to 100 subs. So please, please don't forget, if you've liked the content so far, have any questions or anything at all, definitely leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure you sub. I think we're currently 13 off 100 subs, so definitely drop one there. Make sure you like, make sure you drop a comment. Any questions, let me know. As I said, this will be the team lining up for game week 4 post-international break. It will be a 2-5-3. Saar is going to Rodri with no hiccups on international duty. And the two defenders will either be, it'll be a variety of, as you can hear that in the background, someone's not happy, the little man. It will be two of Calafiori, Mickey van der Ven, or Rodon or Truffet. Probably going to leave Rodon out because I fancy Fulham's chances to score. So, if you've enjoyed everything, please leave a comment, leave a like, and make sure you sub. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the website at supercoachswordplay.com.